Hello everyone, I hope you guys are having a good day, evening, or afternoon. In this video, I'm going to be showing you a boss build specifically towards Ultimate Bunny. So this build is going to deal tons of damage to bosses, specifically to bosses that are weak to electricity, such as Devour or the Obstructor, and also the Swamp Walker as well. So I'm pretty sure you saw at the beginning of the video, I did one phase the Devour when using this build. This is my take on making a boss build specifically towards Ultimate Bunny. And also, if you are new to the channel and are not subscribed, I highly recommend you would subscribe to the channel. You don't have to, but it's free and you can also change your mind at any time. If you do need help in the first Descendant with getting ultimate Descendants, ultimate weapons, defeating Colossus bosses, I also do carries / helps whenever I go live on Twitch or Kick, and I'll be happy to see you there. So without further ado, let's head to this boss build Ultimate Bunny build. Of course, with every build, we're gonna have to start with the modules that I was using for the build. For the Transcendent module, I do recommend going for high voltage. Yes, I do know that every other Ultimate Bunny build, everybody is using this Transcendent module because this is extremely powerful because one, it increases your range and damage when you are using the lightning emission or the throw bomb. So in our case, we are mostly using the lightning emission. So in order for you to acquire the high voltage Transcendent module, you're going to need to eliminate the Pyromaniac. And what's cool about this boss is that one, you're going to be getting that module as well, and two, you're also going to be getting these external components that will be beneficial for this build. And as what you are seeing here, they are called the Slayer external components. We'll get onto those later. For the sub module, you can use any other sub module you like, but for me, I only have the long distance maneuvering, which will give me extra range for my grappling hooks. But I do recommend going for mid-air maneuvering because of course you can mid-air while you're using your grappling hook, and two, as you're doing the grappling hook, you will activate, or should I say proc, the lightning emission more often because it actually ties to your speed when grappling. So for me, when I was using the long distance grappling hook, here's what I would do. I would one, activate my third ability, and then I would activate my grappling hook on the floor or any other surface, and then I try to go in a circle. But as I'm doing that, I'm trying to move a little bit back and also giving myself distance when grappling. So as far as I can go, which is right there, I can grapple and move backwards, because if you're doing that, you have a longer time grappling. But I've only tried this on the long distance grappling hook, so maybe this may be different for the other grappling hooks, so be sure to keep that one in mind. So let me test it on this enemy right here. Activate my third ability, try to go as far as possible, and then move backwards. And it will hit him multiple times, but my range is pretty schmeat, but you get the point. You just keep going in circles around him. And this one applies to the mid-air grapple. What's cool about this is that I know you're going to be grappling in mid-air, so here's what happens when you do. So I'm gonna grapple in mid-air, but what happens is that my character kneels down, which we don't like. So in order for you to remove that, here's what you need to do. You can either shoot it before or when you're gonna land the ground. So what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna grapple, and then before I hit the floor, I'm gonna shoot. So as what you're seeing there, she did not hit the ground with her knees and she just kept on moving. For the next four modules I'm going to explain are going to be a skill critical hit damage and skill critical hit rate. So in total, you're going to be having 207.7 for these two. For the skill insight, it's going to increase your skill critical hit rate, and for skill concentration, it will increase your skill critical hit damage by plus 115.4%. And for the next two, it's going to be the same thing, but a little bit less, but it does help us with the damage for critical hits and rates. And its front lines, it's going to increase your skill critical hit damage by plus 64.6% and your skill critical hit rate by plus 27.7%. Your next one is emergency measures, which is your skill critical hit rate by plus 64.6%, and your skill critical hit damage is plus 27.7%. And for the other three modules, they're going to be mainly prioritizing in your skill power. The first one is power increase, which increases your skill power by plus 65%. The next one is Singular Specialist, which increases your singular skill power modifier by plus 76.1%. But if you do not want to use Singular Specialist, you can also change that for Focus on Singular, because this one will give you a skill cooldown, which is minus 6.1% if you are prioritizing in your cooldown for lightning emission. For the final module that will increase your skill power is Dangerous Ambush. This is very good when dealing with bosses. On the second part, which is on skill attack against an immobilized stabilized enemy, it will increase your skill power up to plus 49.8%. So your main goal is to knock down the boss to increase your skill power even further. The top part does matter as well, but not as much. This one applies to playing with your teammates. So when the boss aggroes on your other teammates, all you would have to do is give the boss some back shots and you'll deal plus 24.9% skill power. For the next two modules, I chose to put it just because of survivability. So the first one is Battle of Stamina. Your max HP will give you a plus 122.3% and your skill duration is plus 8.8%, which will make your abilities last a little bit longer. And the next one is Spear and Shield. Your defense is plus 89.8% and your skill power will give you an extra plus 8.1% for more damage for your abilities. And the last module is Frugal Mindset. Your skill cost is minus 8.5% and your skill effect range is plus 22.2%. You could also change this one to another variation of the cost, which is Strong Mentality, but I wanted to put the Frugal Mindset because of that range, because we don't have any other modules besides High Voltage that will increase your range, so the more range the better. So for the modules that I currently have, it's mainly towards being close and personal to bosses and dealing as much damage as possible with our lightning emission. You can also change these modules for your playstyle, but for me, these are the modules that I think are going to be very good when dealing with bosses. So for the main weapon I'm using for the build is the Thunder Cage. I do have all of these modules as what I had for my regular bunny build. So as what you're seeing here, you can just copy all of it if you like, or you can change it up a bit. But this weapon is mostly focusing on critical hit damage. And for the traits for the Thunder Cage, I do have Firearm Attack, which is yellow, Firearm Critical Hit Damage, which is yellow, and Firearm Critical Hit Rate, which is yellow. And for the purple part, it is Hip Fire Accuracy. I don't want that, but I am broke on the gold, so I do recommend going for the Colossus damage for that one too. All right, I want to make this as quick as possible when explaining the reactors and external components because I've been blabbering nonstop. So let's head to the reactor. So the reactor you're going to want to go for is the Tingling Singularity Reactor because of the optimization condition and also the skill power boost ratio. For the optimization condition, for me, it was a general round and I wanted to go for a Thunder Cage because I'm using that for the build. And if you are holding it on your character as what you're seeing on screen, it will increase your skill power up to 160%. So when you swap your weapons, it will now be a 100% for your skill power. So be sure to keep that in mind. Be sure to hold your weapon when you're using this build. And for the skill power boost ratio, go for electric skill power boost ratio and also singular skill power boost ratio. And also for the traits on the bottom, I did get extremely lucky and I got skill duration up and also skill cost. I do recommend going for skill cost, and also for the second one, you can go for either skill critical damage hit rate or skill critical hit damage. And for the external components, I am using all of these Slayer components. You can be able to get these external components from this boss called the Pyromaniac. He will drop 2 Slayer external components. It is randomized, so you can get any of the 4. And here are the rolls that you should be going for. But before I explain the rolls, here's what happens if you have 4 sets. The main one is that it would give you a plus 26.1% in skill power damage, but at the cost of increasing your skill cost by plus 15%. And for the other stuff, it will increase your rounds per magazine by 9%. And if you have 2 sets, it will increase your general round capacity by plus 8%. So for the auxiliary power, I do recommend going for max HP just for more survivability. And for your other one, go for MP recovery out of combat. Yes, I do know when using this with bosses, it's not really gonna proc, but you never know. For the sensor, your main key point is to go for max MP to increase your MP. So in this case for me is 454 in total. And also your second one, go for MP recovery in combat, because of course we're going to be in combat 100% of the time when dealing damage to bosses. So by having that, you'll be lickety splitty good. You'll be getting more MP. But in order for you to activate this MP recovery in combat, you're going to not want to use your second ability for Bunny. For your third external component is the Slayer Memory, and your main one is to go for MP recovery modifier to get more MP out of your buck when it comes to MP recovery in combat and MP recovery out of combat. And your second one, go for defense for more survivability. And for your Slayer processor, it doesn't really matter what you use, but for me, I have shield recovery modifier and toxin resist. Your main ones are going to be your auxiliary power, your sensor, and your memory. If you did enjoy this video and found this informative, feel free to hit that like button and also subscribe. It's free and you can change your mind at any time you like. And if you don't feel like subscribing, it's all right. I'm not pressuring you.